Hey, Mike DeLeon, Recovery Army. We're on the road to recovery back in dirty Jersey, sitting down, hanging out with a good friend of mine, Mr. Philip O'Hara. What a story, what incredible ups and downs, and finding recovery and losing recovery, but finally really coming to that point in his life where he really got it, and now he's helping so many other people find their path, their journey. An incredible story, incredible perseverance, and now an incredible recovery story. Philip O'Hara.
I had my first drink in 7th grade. You know, it was awesome. Smoked pot around 13, but at 15, I got my tooth pulled, and I went before wrestling practice. I came back to wrestling practice with a prescription of Vicodin. I took 2 Vicodin before wrestling practice, and I had the best practice of my life because my body has this physical allergy to opiates where I get awake, and I ran faster, I wrestled harder, I was more flexible. Around 17, we ended up in the state championship against Delaware Valley, and I had to bump up to 119, and I took a couple of Percocet, and I won in double overtime. I had one of the best matches of my life. So at a very young age, I found opiates to be extremely positive. They felt really good, and I could perform really well. A lot of my friends, when I was around the age of 21, 22, like, you don't even drink. You go out to the bars, but you don't drink. And they were right, because I would take pills, and I would be more sociable, I'd be funnier, I would talk better. And so my drug of choice were 30 milligram roxycodone. I've never even been to a doctor myself, but somehow I was able to get my hands on around 400 to 700 pills a month. And I wasn't taking them all. I found it a lot more beneficial to feed my habit by selling them, and I thought I was one of the good fellows for a couple of years.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
And by 26, I ended up under investigation for a robbery that I had nothing to do with, that led into another investigation about what I was doing with the pharmaceuticals.
There is a troubling report out tonight on just how easy it is to buy prescription drugs without a prescription. In fact, all you need is a computer. The report by researchers at Columbia University says 85% of websites that sell those drugs don't require a prescription. And as John Blackstone reports, this means almost anyone can get them, including children. And
I went to detox for the first time. They told me I needed to go to treatment. I thought they were crazy. I just needed to stop selling pills, and so I left that treatment center and I that detox, and I did stop selling pills, but I had this vicious habit that I couldn't fill anymore, and that's when I made the switch to heroin, because it was a lot cheaper, and I didn't have the money coming in to take 20 or 30 pills a day. So from 26 to 28, I was full-blown heroin. The last 6 months of my addiction, I was shooting it. The last 2 years of my addiction was misery. It was pure hell. The only people that called my phone were my girlfriend and my drug dealer and my mother. I was miserable. I didn't think there was any chance of changing. I just accepted the fact that this is what I was going to be for the rest of my life. I started wanting to change, and I started trying to go to church, and I remember one specific time where I was reading the Bible and snorting bags of heroin. So, you know, when you've reached that point in your addiction, it's no longer fun. The drugs are no longer fun. They don't feel good anymore. At this point, I'm waking up every day to get right. I remember I'd work all these different side jobs on top of my union job. I would work a Saturday and a Sunday just to pay for my drugs for Saturday and Sunday. Finally, you know, that change of that 6 months when I really started to look into a spiritual life and want to change, the overdose happened. And that was kind of that aha moment for me where the fear of death and prison outweighed the fear of withdrawal. And withdrawal seemed like the best option. When I was in early recovery, I had to surround myself with people that had time, people that had found a new way to live. If I wanted to change, I needed to be around people who were changing. Recovery to me is today. It's the 24 hours that are in front of me. I might make a mistake yesterday, and if I live in that mistake, I could have anxiety for 4 days about it, or I can continue to change and continue to try and make myself better. We need to know that this could happen to anybody. The pharmaceutical drug situation in this country is extremely dangerous, and for me it was as simple as getting my tooth pulled. That was it. If you're talking to somebody and they could relate to you in active addiction, and you could be like, holy crap, that guy felt what I felt, you might want to listen to him. So surrender to somebody who's trying to help you, and stop thinking that you know best, because honestly you don't.
Hey, Big Phil, you've really made an impact in my life. I'm so glad you're a part of the Steered Straight movement. I'm so glad you're a part of Recovery Army. And you need to share your story. You need to find these stories and share them with people who are seeking recovery, because in recovery, you can only have what you got by giving it away. It's important to share your hope with someone else who's seeking that hope. Love someone else until they can love themselves. And Phil's really impacting lives in schools, in centers and communities all across the country, doing interventions and helping people. You need help? Reach out. Reach out to the Recovery Army. We're here to help. I'm Michael De Leon, and we will see you on the next episode of On the Road to Recovery.